Today I'm going to talk about, do you need to upgrade to the latest and greatest tech? Probably not. I'm Scott with TechnoEclipse, and we'll just dive right into it. So obviously every year, every company that's like tech related comes out with something new. Apple, Samsung, Intel, well, NVIDIA's not every year, but NVIDIA, AMD, all those companies and everything in between there, they come out with new technology. Whether it's a new phone, whether it's a new graphics card, whether it's a new this, whether it's a new that. But do you need to upgrade to the latest and greatest? No. Here's why. So the other day I was editing a video, yesterday, and I was editing the video and I've been thinking about my laptop. Great laptop, it's got an i7-4960HQ. It's on a MacBook Pro, super powerful, super awesome, really enjoy using it. I edit my videos on Premiere Pro. I can use the full scaled resolution. When scrubbing through the timeline, nothing chokes, nothing happens. I record my videos at 1080p at 60 frames per second to keep that in mind. I do record it on an iPhone, but I used to record it on a DSLR, and I never had any problems with that camera as well. But I just wanted to give you a frame of reference what I'm using. So I edited my video, and I hit export, or I hit Q, and then I hit export in Media Encoder. And the entire export took 12 minutes. It was about an 8-minute file, so that's about a 1 to 1.5 ratio. Pretty good. Obviously, if it was a longer video, it would take longer. But again, it only took about 12 minutes. And I had been thinking, I was like, well, I just got this new eGPU enclosure. It would work a little bit better over Thunderbolt 3 instead of just Thunderbolt 2. Maybe I should consider looking at, some of the newer 2016, 2017, 2018 MacBook Pros and really focusing on the 2018 because of the new Intel Core i7s with 6 cores inside of them. But then I started thinking about it a little bit harder, and I was like, well, it only took 12 minutes to export this file. That's not very long at all. Actually, when you think about it, that's actually quite short when you think about it, put that in perspective. In the day, there are 120 12-minute segments that you go through. 12 minutes is not very long by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. And I can't believe I was thinking like that because it's so easy to get caught up in always wanting to upgrade. Let's take a look at even just this year from the S8 to the S9. The S8 to the S9, there were modest improvements in the camera. But again, the S8 was already so good that it doesn't really make the S9 look that much better. Because in my opinion, while the CPU power might be increasing every year or every 18 months times 2 thanks to Moore's law, I think, in my opinion, technology increases at a decreasing rate. That's called a regression curve. I can explain it real quick. You got a y-axis here, x-axis here. The y-axis will put video export times up here. On the x-axis, we'll just put Geekbench scores of the CPU. So at the top, we'll say it takes 10 hours with a Geekbench score of 1,000, right? And then let's say you have a Geekbench score of 2,000, and we'll just say it goes to 5 hours. Obviously, these aren't exact sciences, but you'll understand my point in a minute. Then you get to 4,000, then it's 2.5, then you get to 8,000, and then it's an hour and 15, and then you get to 16,000, then it's only like 36 minutes or something, 37.5 minutes. So you see that it's always getting shorter, but it's not getting shorter faster. It's getting shorter in smaller chunks on the y-axis every single time. And eventually, the performance gain is going to be minimal because it's already so good. Take, for example, Premiere Pro. It took 12 minutes to export that file. If we took the same sort of idea in saying that the 6-core Intel i7s that just came out this year on the new MacBook Pros are 50% faster, right? They have 2 more cores. We'll just blindly say they're 50% faster according to Geekbench scores. That's pretty accurate. So we'll just say that makes the export times 50% faster, right? Which would take my 12-minute export and move it down to 6 minutes. 12 minutes and 6 minutes, there's not that big of a difference. Not for somebody like myself, not for really anybody, in my opinion. 12 minutes and 6 minutes is not a lot of time. Maybe for some super high-end, super fancy schmancy guy, but for somebody like myself, who is a modest user, who uses his laptop for pretty much light gaming in city skylines and video editing, 1080p at 60 videos for YouTube, it's not the most taxing of all time. So I began to think, I was like, the performance gain I'm going to get is going to be so minimal every single time. And then I'll upgrade to 2018s, and guess what? In 1 year, the 2018 is going to be obsolete and out of date. You know what that's going to make me want? It's going to make me want the 2019s because those CPUs have 6 cores, 12 threads, and their boost clock is, 400 megahertz higher and it's a little bit more power efficient, so the laptop runs just a little bit cooler. That's it. You need to keep in mind the performance gain year over year isn't that big, especially when you talk about something like exporting a video or just using basic app. Just because you have a Core i9 and I have, let's say, a Core i3, doesn't really mean that us opening Chrome is going to take mine that much longer. It might take like a 15th of a second max, but like that's nothing. That is minimal. That could be just held down to how fast the Wi-Fi is at that point. It's so fast already that we are comparing like apples and apples. It's like, yeah, this one's this fast and this one's that much faster. Who cares? You need to learn to be happy with what you have. It's the same with like YouTube comments and them always ripping on Apple and saying, oh, Apple charges too much for their phones and too much for this and too much for that. Okay, let's pause for a second. You're complaining about something that can wirelessly access everything that's pretty much ever been written in the entire world at any given moment, right? Using a piece of silicon, some glass for the display, and aluminum for the chassis. And you're complaining about that, the fact that it costs about $500 too much. You hear where I'm going with this? Like, we need to start to realize that your technology is good. You don't need to always be comparing it to other people. Because on YouTube, you want to know some of the people that show these latest and greatest and get them sent to them by big companies. They are getting these things for free. Of course, they're going to be like, oh, it's a modest gain from this to this. I would suggest upgrading. They got the product for free. Of course, they're going to think that. Like, but they don't have to go out and buy it. They don't really need that extra performance, but if they get it for free, why the hell wouldn't they tell you to go buy one? That's my little rant right there. I think people are really caught up in, oh, I need this Geekbench score to be 14,868 instead of 14,204. So I need to get this laptop instead of that laptop, or I need this CPU on my side of my desktop instead of that CPU. Just learn to be happy with what you have, guys. Like, you have amazing technology that can do amazing things. Let's just learn to be happy with it. So these are my thoughts on upgrading. Should you do it every year? Absolutely not. This is a 2013 MacBook Pro. This thing's gonna last me, unless I start shooting in 4K and I get a really expensive camera for some reason, this thing's gonna last me for another year to 2 years or even 3 years. It really depends on how long Apple supports it. So just learn to be happy with what you have, and that's pretty much all I have to say on the topic. This has been Scott with Techno Clips. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button. And if you didn't like the video, I don't even know. Report me, leave a mean comment, dislike it. Is there anything else you can do? Find my dog and then tell her that I suck. How about that? Find my dog and be like, your owner sucks. Don't come to my house or else I will report you to the authorities. All right, this has been Scott with Techno Clips. Thank you for watching. And again, if you'd like to consider subscribing, live stream Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see you there. I'm excited. I got some new lights coming in. Actual lights, not just like lamps like this. These cost me like $55 on Amazon. So you're welcome. I'm doing it for you. They're going to be these cool lights. They're like they got like light diffusers and everything. I got 2 of them. I'm really excited about it. Actually, I think you guys are going to like it. And I also, for my microphone, I got this little arm that I can attach to a desk. That way, instead of having to set it on dog food like I do now, I can actually have it and keep it much closer to my mouth so the audio sounds a lot better. So I got a couple cool upgrades coming. It cost me like $70, so like you're welcome. Gosh, no thanks. There's no thanks in this job. No, I'm just joking. It's not a job. All right. Again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.